Very good. I'm gonna call this meeting to order at 6:03 PM. Make a following statement. This meeting is being recorded by the Public Safety Commission. If any other person is present, recording or online, please notify the chair right now, please. Anybody else recording? And none, I will say that nobody else is recording. I'm gonna do a roll call. Commissioner Lanoy. Here. Dave, I massacred your name, I apologize. David Muscatero.
I am here.
He's here. Ed Jarvis, I am here. Maria Burge. Here. Kelly Dixon.
Here.
Gary Braff.
Here.
Commissioner Parker. Here. Did I say it wrong? I did, okay. Very good. So at this time, before we do anything else, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session. So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, so at this time, we're gonna go into executive session, to discuss strategies and or deployment of security personnel or devices. An open session would be detrimental to the effect or failure details to compromise this reason. That's why we're going into executive session. So would we go into executive session?
So what?
Oh, we need to take a vote of the motion.
You want?
Thank you.
You want?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I forgot that part. Now we're gonna go into executive
So
session.
you can let the folks know that we're gonna leave the regular meeting and then we'll come back
Yep.
into it.
Okay, so we're gonna leave this regular meeting, and when we're done with the executive session, we'll go right back into it. Yes, Steve.
Would you like me to just shut the cameras and the microphones off and leave it up? They're not gonna be able to hear.
No, we want to shut it down.
You want to
completely.
restart the meeting?
Yes. Can you do that?
I'm open.
There'll be two sessions on you.
I don't know if we can can't mute the volume, the.
You can mute it and turn the cameras off.
I can shut the cameras and the microphones so nothing's
Why
on.
don't you do that then?
It'll just
And
still
not
be
record
live.
it.
You
Yes.
just, nobody will see or hearing.
That's fine.
Right.
Okay.
And I would turn on.
Very good. Welcome back, folks. We are now out of executive session. We are back in the regular session of the Public Safety Commission at the Greenfield Fire Station. Yeah. It's 6:24.
You can.
Thank you. Yep, take the signs down.
Yeah. thanks.
Okay, so at this point, we left off at public comment. Is there anybody online that wishes to do public comment? Please either speak up or raise your hand if you have a virtual hand. One more time, anybody online? Okay, anybody in the room that would like to make public comment at this time? Okay, seeing none, I'm gonna close public comment at 6:26. And we are gonna move on to our agenda. First is an AMR. Aren't you guys lucky?
Right on time,
Right on
Mark.
time.
Mark, right on time.
Yes.
Just speak your name. for
Yeah, no
everybody out there, Mark, so they know.
Mark DeProd, I am
Yes.
an AMR operations supervisor, here representing Kim D'Angelo, the ops manager, and Patrick Leonardo, regional director, so. I know Kim sent out the email with all the numbers from, the month of January. Pretty much everything has been pretty much the same, call volume wise. The QRV numbers were in there, so when it's in service, it's still responding, with Greenfield Fire, and I believe sometimes local overturners in Montague if they request ALS. We did just finish upgrading a new per diem paramedic for Greenfield. I think Kim said he's actually a full-time Greenfield firefighter, Mike Magnuson, so he's a per diem paramedic. Will be working the road for us, and I think that's it. Oh, one last thing, I guess you asked Kim about the AEDs.
Mhm.
So she forwarded that information to the chief for the
Okay.
pricing and everything. So
Excellent.
he was gonna review it.
I just have one quick thing. If you can have Kim send that to my email and maybe,
She sent it to me, I forwarded it to Ed, but it was late in the day,
Okay.
so,
can I get it like a day ahead of time?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
from our meeting, that way I can forward it to the rest of the commission
No
so they
problem.
have a
Yeah.
chance to digest it a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're not getting, at 5:30, I'll get it home and I'm
Absolutely. Yeah,
sending
yeah.
it out to them for meeting at 6,
No
so
problem.
maybe like a day ahead of time
Sure.
or something like
I'll
that,
pass
just
it
so
on
we
to
can
her. Yeah.
digest the information and get it out there. I can,
yeah, and I apologize for the commissioners. It was sent to me a little bit late and we had a busy day today and I had forwarded to Ed later in the afternoon.
yeah,
But I'll forward it to everybody after the meeting so they could see it. So if commissioners have questions next month about January, you'll have the information to review. I don't think there's anything staggering on it. That's an emergency.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Mark's concerns? Wow, you got off lucky tonight.
And sorry, I'm the only parent around. My
Excellent.
wife's in Boston with my in-laws for surgery, so I gotta go get the kids.
Stuck in
So-
Boston.
Thank you for being here.
No problem, take care.
So next is, fire department.
I will, since we have so many guests, if you're okay with it, I'll let the PD go ahead of me.
We will move on to dispatch. And so just so everybody knows that next month, I'm gonna rotate everybody, so people get rotated.
Try throwing us a bone. and
Make
you
it
didn't even
clear,
take
so
it.
the bottom goes to the top. We'll have the gas
I'm by
bill
myself, so
going.
let the.
Rotation.
Look how
Get out of
special
here.
we'll feel.
So we will welcome dispatch to come up and talk to us.
Yeah.
I don't, I would,
Doesn't have any juice.
I wouldn't recommend that. I would keep the police involved.
Yeah, thank you. Very good. Cindy, if you could just introduce yourself to the people out there in Zoom world.
I am Cindy Hunter. I'm the dispatch supervisor for Greenfield Police and Fire. First, I would like to introduce you all to one of our two new trainees. You met the other person last month. So this is Cassandra Kuplast. She goes by Cassie.
Hi, Cassie, welcome.
She's actually started with us less than a month ago. But she actually has experience with another agency. So when she came to us, she has all of the certifications that we require. So we are putting her on shift March 1st. So
Nice.
if you could just introduce yourself and say a little bit about your background.
Yeah, nice to see everyone. I'm Cassie. I did come with previous experience. I was with the town of Southampton and City of East Hampton for a while. So I did have previous dispatch experience for police, fire, and medical. So super excited to be here with everyone. I have a bit of a background in public safety. I had my first degree in criminal justice and I followed up with my second in Homeland Security. So just excited to be here and learn more about Greenfield.
I would just like to say that she has been fantastic so far. All of her trainers have been so impressed with her performance so far. And she only needed about a week when she was caught up and seemed like she's going to be good to go. So we're very excited to
Very
have her.
exciting.
Anybody
Excuse me.
in the commission have any words of wisdom? I would just say welcome aboard. And it's great to hear you come from two big cities and busy dispatchers, so you're used to the chaos that's gonna be happening. So I always have a soft spot for dispatchers because it's a very busy, chaotic job that they do. So welcome
Super
aboard.
You're the first responder to the first responders.
Exactly. Well, Commissioner Jarvis he's a retired firefighter and Commissioner Burge is a retired police officer. Lots of experience with this board. So they're very supportive of us. So we appreciate that. With that said, we are officially, as of March 1st, we are at 9 dispatchers on shift, which makes us, I don't want to say it too loud, but fully staffed. Let's cross
Every
our.
time you say that, the
our
next
finger- I
month. you
know.
come in, oh, don't say it again.
Something else happens. So as soon as she's on shift, we have our 9, which I have put our calendar in for the next 6 months and our overtime has dropped dramatically. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, helping out our budget. We do have one more trainee that you all met last month, Alexandra. She probably will be another month and a half, maybe a couple of months. She had no previous experience, but she's coming along very well. And when she's off training, we will have our vacation relief spot filled, which will help our overtime even more. So I'm very excited about that. Let's see. So our call stats for last month, for January, we entered 2,626 calls for service into the CAD. But so that was a little bit of an increase. In December, we had 2,031 calls. So we had about 600 more calls in January. For the month of January, we answered and sent out 2,011 911 calls or calls to our 911 system. The numbers for December, we were missing last month. So you will see the numbers are there for December. They were 2,046. So we dropped slightly, basically on par the month before. For January, our per diems covered 260 hours of shifts, which equals about 32.5 shifts. I covered at least 40, I think it may have been more, 40 to 48 hours. Excuse me. Upcoming, we have a career fair that we're going to be attending at Greenfield High School. We're excited about that on March 13th. We've been invited. Dispatcher Chelsea Reynolds and Yvonne Mumblow and myself will be attending, handing out some information to the students and perhaps bringing in some new dispatcher experience, new dispatchers in the future. Currently, we have one dispatcher who is in the midst of CTO training, Communications Training Officer Dispatching, excuse me. She is in her third week of a 5-week class. We also have another dispatcher, Patrick DeCote, who will be starting that training. When those two are done, we will have 7 certified communications training officers, including myself. And at that point, we will have trainers on all shifts, which I'm very excited about. And I would just like to mention that yesterday, the police department and dispatch hosted the City of Greenfield's Citizens Academy. Thank you to Commissioner Burge and Commissioner Dixon for attending. Erin Anhalt from the mayor's office, she was the coordinator of that program. It was a group of citizens who signed up to do a presentation with each department in the city. So yesterday was our turn. I believe it was 10 or 11 attendees. Dispatcher Megan Cullen assisted with our part of it. We gave a tour of dispatch. We did some Q&A with the attendees. They asked great questions. And we just expressed to them how grateful we are for our dispatch center and how grateful we are for the city. And they seem very impressed with us. So we are very appreciative of that. And I think that's all I have for this month. Unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions from commissioners or comments?
Can you explain for folks, because I've been asked a few times, on the sheet here, we have a total of 2,626 calls and most of those were 911. So the difference, the 600 and something calls.
Yes.
How are those calls to the office? Are those calls to dispatch, but they're not? Can you just explain that for folks?
So the 2,626 calls for service are calls that we enter into our CAD system, meaning someone has contacted us or an officer has initiated a call with us and we've documented that call in the computer system. The 911 call figure is 911 calls that come into our dispatch center. It could be multiple calls for the same incident. But that's the total number of calls coming in and going out through the 911 system. It doesn't mean that every call may not get documentation. It may not need documentation, but mostly they do. But I hope that explains the difference.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other commissioners?
I just want to say thank you for inviting us to be a part and to participate in the academy yesterday. That was very cool to be just on the sidelines and watching it and seeing inside the vehicle and, learning what the day in the life of a police officer is. Like, it's really, really amazing. And I hope that Erin will organize another one of those in the future. Because I think it's great for other fellow citizens to see what happens there and what goes on and what people do. How important it is.
Yeah. I agree. I would just like to say that I thought that the chief and the deputy chief did a fantastic job. And in particular, Officer Zoe Smith did a fabulous job. Clearly that is Zoe's niche, is community relations, and everybody did a fantastic job. So thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Okay, I guess you're off the hook again.
Thank you.
There you go, thank you. Are we ready for the fire chief? Or should I go on to the police chief? We'll go on to the police chief.
Rotten today.
Step on up.
We actually stole Cindy's thunder at that. We never gave her a chance to talk at the Citizens Academy. We went over.
I'm learning to see. I think
Almost ready to have do it right.
Right. I am, I'm slapping people around.
Good.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Like where they sit,
No, in the order.
When you go first, I wouldn't recommend.
kick him down the end. Fresh air. I'll print you up the name tag. You got this.
Okay, we now have the police department. Chief, if you could introduce yourself and people that you have.
Chief Dodge, Greenfield Police, Chris Green, Deputy Chief.
Provisional Lieutenant Emily Rowell-Lynch.
We'll start out, so they don't have to hang out. I know they want to, but we'll start out. The lieutenant can introduce two new hires for Greenfield. So one of them, I'll give just a brief bio is came to us from an agency in New Hampshire where he was a sergeant. And the other has just graduated from the full-time academy.
Evening, I'm Miles Mastro Totero. Been a police officer since 2018. Originally from Greenfield, born and raised here, went to Greenfield High School. Moved away for college and then got into policing. So I came from Plastow, New Hampshire, where I spent the last 5 years working. But I graduated from the Mass Academy in 2018.
Welcome to Greenfield.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice. to be
Welcome back to Greenfield.
That's it. It's a little different.
Evening, everybody. My name is William Scoble. I'm originally from Southampton. I went to Hampshire Regional High School, graduated in 2018. After that, I enlisted in the Marine Corps. Did 5 years on active duty. After getting out, I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to come to Greenfield, serve as a police officer. So I graduated the academy the end of January, and now I'm here. Looking forward to working with everyone, meeting everyone.
Nice, welcome for you. Thank you for your service and thank you for coming to help us out now. Thank you.
So both gentlemen have started again. Officer Scoville graduated the academy at the end of January of this year. And his day one was February 2nd. He's already done 21 shifts so far, and he's already moving on to phase 2, which in regards to our program, essentially half of his training program is already done in about 3 weeks time, almost 4 weeks time. As for Miles, he started just last week, I think. This was this end of his second week. So 7 shifts he's completed so far. And he is estimated, both of them are estimated to be solo at about April 1st. And they're right on track and even ahead of the schedule. They're very, very great candidates for our department.
It's good news. The crew lies to me, but so far they're saying they like them.
Commissioners, any,
Well, I just want to state that I was at there, so other commissioners know this, that I was at both interviews for these two gentlemen, as on the interview processing board. So so it's not the first time that they've touched.
Reminded you?
No, I remember his interview. This isn't the first time they've seen Public Safety Commission. Just to let everybody know that.
They haven't seen me.
But that's an anomaly though. That's an anomaly.
There's just on the hiring note, it looks like we have, if you guys remember, Officer Jed Henry.
Yes.
He went out east for a bit, learned it wasn't for him, asked if he could come back. Yes, you need people. So it's likely mid-March.
Hopefully April 1st, he will be back with us at that point.
And then we have 2 potentials that we're looking into as well. So that'll get us back pretty good, not completely full.
That'll bring us to 33.
So our special units, detectives and things of that nature, we should be able to fully staff and get back rocking and rolling the way we want.
Are you thinking about the detective position? Are there things in the
In
works?
terms of entertaining filling it,
Yes.
not until all.
Not going to. That is.
Yeah, not all, we did that before.
Filling.
Filling it, okay.
No, we want to get back. Our goal, I mean, I think we were operating quite well with the agency the way it was and the positions filled the way they were downtown. We have a business district officer. The community resource officer for detectives is usually what we have. So contrary to what you might think, there are a lot of big cases that generate in Greenfield. And if they're not big in and of themselves, they're extremely important and fragile. So that's why trained detectives take over them. So 4 is kind of what we need.
Is somebody temporarily filling this spot of detective right now?
So we still have Tim Cooley who's doing his narcotics detective detail. The only actual general detective left was Mike Barone. So what we did is we had to kick Corey Green out of patrol. He's acting sergeant right now. We kicked him out of patrol and put him back into DB because he's got years of experience in the DB. So he's not only managing it, which takes a little bit off of Lieutenant Batinsky's shoulders. He's managing the detective bureau, but also being a detective. So it's actually helped quite a bit. It's contingency until we can figure out how to get the staffing back.
I mean, my concern is if we don't have the positions filled, burnout. So,
and that was our biggest concern, is we had, it's an on-call position. And in fact, Detective Barone just he's got a baby, a young child. I mean, it was unreasonable to think he'd be the only one getting called out every time a detective is needed. So that's why we moved Corey back in there, and it's been smooth so far. I mean, they're short, but smooth and making it happen.
So there's Tim, there's Mike, and there's Corey. And Tim is still on the task force, the narcotics task force, most of the time. And when he's not doing that, he fills in as detective.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
They got a pretty heavy need right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just curious.
Okay,
Again, my concern was burning folks out.
I just want to interrupt for 1 minute. Are we done with any comments for the new guys? We promised them they could cut out, that they didn't have to listen to the whole meeting.
Drag you right out.
And you can stay if you want, but I just wanted to make sure that the commissioners didn't have any questions for the new folks. No, okay.
Best of luck.
Best of luck, welcome
Thanks for
aboard.
coming, guys.
Yeah, see
Thank
it.
you.
I give you guys a good deed by getting.
I'm just gonna stay.
See you. Okay, now we can move on. Sorry. Vice Chair, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I am. You go ahead.
We actually, the deputy chief put together, we presented it yesterday at the academy, but we did an analysis of the year, and I believe it came down to we issued about 1,790 incident reports, meeting investigations. There was about 560 arrests and summonses. Just physical citations were 3,777, I think. That's just shooting from the hip. So all in all, I mean, we're averaging about 300 citations a month. We talked about that in the academy as well, is that vast majority of these are warnings, et cetera, exactly like we talk about every month. So at some point in time, we can get you that year end analysis and we can email it to you.
Yeah, that would be good.
I meant to bring it today.
And I think, did somebody ask about the citations, a breakdown of citations?
Your packet, I
It's in
added
this
it
one
for
this
you
year?
today, I remembered from.
Great. You listen.
Looking a little further, shocker. January calls for service. We had 2,910, which was down 127 calls from the previous month. Time spent on those calls were 1,423 hours. That's 14 more hours. Calls handled downtown business district, 247, which was down 39 calls. Would you incidents or just citations? Okay. So incident reports for the month of January was 122. That was up 33 reports. Accident reports issued was 57, down 6. Arrest reports 41, which was up 9. And she can speak to the citations.
So the month of January, we did not have the designated municipal road safety grant for the traffic safety grant that we have, which allows extra details, just dedicated one officer for 4 to 8 hour blocks, just on traffic enforcement. So for January, we did not have those extra assigned details. Therefore, the total citation number was 238 for the month of January. Written warnings were 171, and I broke down the nature of what these warnings were issued for. Verbal warnings were 41. The criminal application citations, there was a total of 19, and civil citations, so a money cite, was a total of 7. Again, each of the offenses that these citations were written down for, I broke it down.
So 238 citations, only 7 people got issued a fine. I'm consistent on where we're going.
Education.
Yeah.
Something appears in multiple categories. Is it discretion that makes something a warning versus a citation?
So several things can go into the decision-making for whether it's a money citation. There are certain offenses that must be a criminal application citation. Say, for example, unlicensed operation. So if your license is expired or suspended or revoked, you can be charged criminally, either physically arrested, or you can get a citation and have a court date for later on. A lot depends on whether they've been cited for it before. We're able to, when we run somebody's information, see if they've been stopped for it before and given 7 warnings for their plate light out over the last 3 years, and it's just hasn't been taken care of or something like that. These are all of the sort of factors that we take into the consideration for officers' discretion of whether to verbally warn. Written warnings, and again, written warnings no longer go against your license in Massachusetts. So that is also just an educational tool, documentation that we are out there and doing enforcement. Does that help?
Ed?
Okay.
Ed,
Yep.
may I ask a question?
Sure.
Parking citations.
Yes.
Do you have any information on that?
In pertaining to what?
How many are issued?
So I do not. We have specific, I believe, 2, maybe 3 we're up to now for parking enforcement, 2 parking enforcement, which operate out of the town hall, and they have their own documentation. For Greenfield Police Department, we have our own parking ticket tablets, which we generally only use for winter parking ban violations. If the DPW wants a tow, I haven't taken those into consideration, and written those up. They're just entered a little differently, but I could start doing that if you're interested in that.
I was interested in historic, rather than immediate, because are we issuing more or less parking tickets? Are we doing it on Main Street, or are we doing it off Main Street? How are the businesses reacting to our ticketing, and are the numbers of the businesses down because people are getting teed off because they're getting tickets?
Right.
So
That's a hard analysis.
no,
Yeah.
I absolutely understand that, and that's all,
Talked about that.
it's just a question. It's not really something we can.
Right, from his, just to answer some of your question, was obviously it is up now as opposed to 3 months ago. Reason for that is you have 2 part-timers instead of 1. Neither of them, until just recently, actually, neither of them were driving. We don't have a car for them. But we did lend one of our, actually, I think maybe fire lent them a car, either us or fire lent them a car to go do a particular mission. But you're gonna see the overwhelming majority of tickets written are downtown because that's where they are, they're walking.
I understand.
I don't even know if I can access their system to get you stats. I don't know. Judy might be able to, because she's technically in charge of finance.
You might be able to put a public records request in through the website.
I was just wondering, because we're being affected as a town by how we interact with outside
You know,
visitors.
again, I talked to, because we do that, we talk to business owners and they're polarized down the middle too. Some is so in favor of the tickets because it keeps cars moving.
Yeah.
To allow new customers in, but then of course, the ones who park out in front of their own business and get a ticket aren't happy. They want to park there, right? So again, it's one of those things. It's a tough analysis.
Thanks for this breakdown though. Appreciate that.
We talked before, special reports, we talked about Sergeant Corey Green moving into the special unit sergeant. That's kind of, if you remember, we had the special unit sergeant. That's sort of the moniker we're using for him right now, because we're actually, his scope is much broader than just a detective. Like I said, he's taking over actual sort of that first level management of the detective bureau, which is very small, but he can help the lieutenants in organizing caseloads, monitoring caseloads, but he can also come out and respond as a on-call detective. And he's got a lot of years of experience back there. So.
There's a question. Do we have a court officer?
Yep.
Who specifically takes cases to court?
He's an NR employee. That's an attorney. He actually is on the bar, and he does he does a lot more than court. So he handles all court. He handles all of our property, and he's in charge of the record request. So he does all the record, core, everything. It's a pretty sizable mission. He has one part-time person under him who helps in the records. He and currently the operations lieutenant share the property room, the evidence room. So it's a sizable obligation that he has on his shoulders. Any other movements? Any other officer movements?
Today.
The special report I have, we did have today. We had, as we talked about earlier. What's that?
At 5.
Yep. So today we conducted our promotional process for the next full-time lieutenant. The assignment given to them was, what do we do if ICE comes to town? It was great, honestly. There was a lot of consistency in answers, which is actually refreshing because it seemed our training is relatively consistent. We're all on the same page. We think alike. I appreciate the commissioners who were there for it and participated in it. So always welcome. We tried to feed most of you, one abstained, and next time we'll get you. Don't bring your lunch next time. So we'll take care of you. Maria took care of her large cheeseburger.
I forgot the cheese.
But it was honestly, I will say this again because I've said it every time. What we do, and we made it a rule, we bring command staff members, high-ranking members from other departments in to sit on the panel in addition to our people. And you were there for the conversations. It happens every time. They beg for our people, number one. They want our candidates to come onto their staff as supervisors because of so much. They bring so much to the table and they throw out all the training and all the knowledge that they have. There's never been a time that they're not like over themselves saying, we want that person. Like we'll take 2 or 3 of your promotional candidates. Today, I would have gave them some, but it did really. Just right. So anyway, the dog.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I'm proud of that. I am actually, all joking aside, super proud of it. They actually took with them some of what our command staff members put together because they were so interested in bringing this back to their police departments. What does that do? That creates consistency among the police department in Western Mass. So it's not bad that we do these things. It's not bad that we entertain them and have them come and join in with us. But it was, I don't know, I was proud. You agree? It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was excellent. Yeah, it's good. We need to get away from the common everyday questions, that we use every time and be creative. And you guys did a good job creating.
So for those who weren't there, historically we do a civil service exam. If you didn't do a civil service exam, you did an assessment center, which was you get thrown through a bunch of different scenarios. And you had to react and kind of figure out all these scenarios. We then changed and we were doing just oral board examinations. And it's just questions and answers. And then we, at some point through evolution, we decided, let's throw a project in there. Let's ask them to complete a project. I think the first one I designed was a dignitary was coming to town. Set up a detail for it. Give me all the cost breakdowns. You sat in on one with us. And we'd review the books, right? So you were there, you understood what that was. Pretty bland, pretty dry. You don't know our policies really. So what we decided, the deputy chief and I talked about it this time, let's make this a little more dynamic. Let's make it a little more interesting, right? Because reading from a binder sucks. It's not fun and you don't even know what you're looking for. So we figured we're gonna actually put these individuals on the spot of presenting this IAP, this incident action plan. And with that, I think anybody, safe to say, learned something from it and was able to say, I get it now. I get a little bit more about what you're talking about. So they were rated based on certain criteria, how they handled the budget, how they handled other resources. Presentation alone was a factor. How professional was it? Was it viable? Was this actually a plan that we could do? So there was a matrix that we set up in terms of that rating criteria. Again, I couldn't be prouder of the results of that. It was great. So just to put it, we're hoping sooner rather than later, we will be announcing who our pick is based on the results of these things. We have to wait for the hiring committee to get back. Sadly, Jay Batinsky got stuck in Florida.
Okay.
So he couldn't get a ticket until Friday.
He's really heartbroken about that.
Yeah. So he's stuck. I said, that's horrible for you. So he'll be back Friday and then he's gotta meet with two.
We have a date of Wednesday. We're getting together Wednesday
You
morning.
may find as early as Wednesday. We know what's happening. So I'm happy to say that. And then we can move on other stuff. Budget report, it's same gloom and doom. We're massively over in cruiser. Other than that, I mean, we're where we need to be. Cruisers just beat the hell out of us this year. But as you know, or may have heard, there's now a spending freeze throughout the city. So
Is the truck up and running and charged and?
It was just detailed last weekend.
Okay, because the last time I saw it wasn't detailed.
it's gonna be re-detailed.
So the main patrol officer who is operating it, and is in charge of this rapid response team, he's took it out, I believe, today for the first time for patrol, to kind of get the feel of it. There's still some electronics, computer program to get up and running and linked up so that everything can be, finalized, but he is at least operating it, figuring out the kinks and the way that we can keep it charged up. The House of Corrections has been fantastic with allowing us to utilize their area to keep that so that it's good to go whenever we need it.
So is it going through different shifts or is it just one, is it assigned to this one person?
We can't. So number one, Nick Limoges is assigned to it right now. He is literally a smile ear to ear. He's got a perma smile on. He loves this truck. He brought it back from MHQ and he's like, this thing is awesome. So we're happy about that. But we got to get the charger installed. So Eversource did their thing. They did the pole work, the underground work, and brought it into the panel.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's now up to Current. Okay, so the last thing, once Current does their connections and drops the charger in place and gets that all set up, Eversource will come back and actually put the socket. They're not going to put a socket until all the rest is done, so it's not powered up. But I believe inside the panel, it's done. Eversource's part's done. So,
Where's it being charged then? Oh,
At the House of Corrections, they have
have one
charging
that matches?
stations for us that, yes.
matches,
It's
right?
a
Oh, they
little
all
bit
match.
faster than our
It's a
dryer
universal
plug.
Well, it's also under supervision.
Well, it is.
Exactly, which is.
The sheriff
here.
gave us the access to it though, so we don't have to pay. She's letting us charge this for nothing. So it's
So Nick's using it on the daytime shift.
So the plan is to have 2 officers dedicated to this truck and only those 2 to know the ins and outs of it, what's working, since this is our first fully electric truck. So Nick on day shift, and we are still finalizing, hopefully the evening shift, the 3 to 11 shift, having 1 officer designated to that truck during that time. During the midnight hours, if there is a major incident, a house fire, or something that needs those scene screens that we were talking about before, this truck will be fully outfitted and similar to like a drone call out or a hostage negotiation call out. It'll be similar to that, where they'll be called out, those 2 officers that are designated to the truck, and they'll have the first right of refusal to come in and take the truck and help out.
and Emily doesn't know yet, but she's gonna have to write a policy on that.
I know it.
That'll be.
I'm just avoiding it.
You have a range.
So we'll see that policy next month? No.
When it's fully charged, will it go 400 miles or will it go 12, 24 hours.
20,
I
330,
think it's
something like
just under 400 miles.
Okay, and will it run 24 hours
So that's
without a charge?
That's why we don't want it to be running for the 3 shifts and having an officer every single shift dedicated to it, so that it has that one downshift to charge up. And depending on the charger, ours that we're getting installed at the police department is apparently
It's a fast charge.
It's
Level
apparently
3.
the cream of the crop that will be able to fast charge again whenever officers come in and do their report ratings, callbacks, anything like that. They plug it
On
in.
an hour and it
The
may be
answer,
Set it
charged.
the answer to your
Yeah.
question is we have no idea.
I-
We've never had one,
No,
you know,
I
so
got you.
we want to give the city an honest assessment of how this works and if it worked. And again, our plan is so far is we're probably going to be asking for another SUV type, right? Because we have a 2-place charger being installed. So we don't know. We haven't seen one of these vehicles with all the upfitting, right? So we got radios and modems and sirens and lights and all these other things that we have to put into these cars. These laptops run constantly in there, or it's a pain to have to keep getting in your car and rebooting your laptop. So they're set to stay on, and we'll put it this way, if the truck's normal rating, you know, privately is 330 hours, it's probably 150 hours for police.
Because you have to run all this other equipment.
It's constantly on.
It's a drain on the battery. Got it.
But the answer is we don't know. I have no idea. We're hoping for the best.
We'll find out.
Okay, Millie, you have the co-response stuff, trip and all that?
Not with me, but I can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, talk about that.
All right, I guess I'm talking some more. So we have the co-response technicians that work directly out of our department as well as out of Deerfield. They have an annual conference every year, and this year's they've had a CIT conference where dispatchers have been able to go in the past. This year's is co-response solely. So we are sending a Sergeant Cloutier and Officer Granger, along with one of the 2 clinicians that we have out of our department, and sending them to Dallas, Texas. Don't quote me on the dates. It's the beginning of July of this year for 3 days to be able to attend the conference. Our second co-response clinician and 1 officer from Deerfield PD is also going to be accompanying them. So it'll be a really good group, and with officers to be able to go and attend this conference. I haven't looked too far into what this is, but I believe Sergeant Cloutier and Officer Granger have both been before and really enjoyed the experience. So they will be doing that in the beginning of July of this year.
Needs to be said, 100% of it paid by the grant. We spend no money, Greenfield spends no money on this, so.
So they're
Make sure
really
that
gonna
gets
enjoy
out.
themselves in Texas, aren't they?
Can you
Whatever
invite,
they want.
when they come back, will you invite them to, just here and let us know what type of courses they took
Yeah,
and
definitely.
seminars and all that?
That is a really good idea.
Got any questions?
Your turn, DC.
Ask them.
He's got correspondence.
Yep. Our response for the month was 19 calls for Greenfield. We had 5 section 12s, 1 ED diversion, no injuries, and 0 arrests and summonses.
So they're down, because we're just down to 1, right?
No, we're two now. I'm not sure when.
Too, and I believe that yesterday Caitlin said to the group that Christina should be back March something, early March. We will have our 3rd response clinician.
Were we down a little on calls though? 19 seems pretty
But it
low.
doesn't show us the follow-ups that are done.
Okay,
This is the calls that the call response team went to.
okay,
But there's follow-ups on top of this, but
okay.
And they're also hitting Deerfield, they're hitting Monmouth.
They share, right?
yeah, we all share the
We'll share
grant.
the 3 of them.
Yes.
That was also really
They're
great. to
housed
see
with
them
us.
yesterday.
Yeah.
They're housed with us. Deerfield has their own grant. And they have certain days of the month that they ride with them. Lonnie doesn't have the grant yet, but I'm sure that their new chief will look into that, make them part of the.
Thank you.
So I think you might have mentioned it on your interview today. There was a call, when we asked you about a call, and you were on a call, was it? I'm pretty sure it was you. What, were the co-responses with you on that call?
Yes, there was a co-response clinician that responded. She works directly with the SRT team, and I believe her main
location is out of Irving PD.
Okay.
I believe that was Leanne Hadville, and she showed up and was able to help with the crisis negotiators and the hostage negotiators that were trying to make contact with the individual inside, but we did have co-response on scene.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, but I figured, okay, thanks for,
Let's think of new things.
you know. Well, co-response is, I feel like it's really important.
Huge.
And I would like to see it grow, you know, as much as it can, but it all comes down to finances and grant, so I get that, but it seems like it's quite an important part of it. It will.
I believe our entire department is now CIT trained, if not, maybe some of the newest ones, small handful haven't attended yet. The classes do fill up very quickly in their other side of the state generally, but most of the department, as well as dispatchers, they have a specialized dispatcher CIT training. That
I knew
is,
Cindy was gonna say something. You covered it. All the dispatchers took it upon themselves to go. It's not even a required. They're doing it. Good.
So the big thing, your budget, you wanna touch on your budget? Nothing to report, same as last
I
year?
mean, we were given instruction,
Yeah.
but right now it's sort of, I would call it, we're in the rough draft stage right now.
Rough draft, okay.
The deputy chief and I sat quite a few times, kind of picking it apart and moving stuff around, and but you know, my method is I'm looking at current, looking at last year. Trying to figure out, as you know, from FY25 to FY26, a lot of meat was taken off the bone in terms of expenses, and we're absolutely feeling it. So there's several categories where we're in the red, and we're not like just buying stuff willy-nilly. We are picking and choosing. So the deputy chief, we joke about it all the time, but in all honesty, he's a goalie for spending, and there's no unnecessary spending that we're doing, and we're over. So some things were miscategorized coming in FY26. For example, I think it was cruiser maintenance, where at one point we had $25,000 allotted for cruiser maintenance. I requested 32. I anticipated a bad year. That was cut to 18. So what wasn't found out was 12,000 of that is the substation lease. So we had 6,000. And we spent about $50,000 on cruiser maintenance this year. So it worked against us horribly, but there are other categories that are very similar. We're significantly over budget. What our plan, like last year, is the only way for us to hopefully try to manage this is by holding off on hiring. So when it comes to the finish line, we save money once we can combine expenses and salaries. So, but in terms of next year, it's in the budget book right now. Both dispatch and police, they're probably sitting 10 or 12% over this year's. And I'm honestly looking at that like this is what's needed. It's going to be tough, but
I know we need to give a recommendation to the mayor at some point about budgets, so as soon as you guys get them drafted.
do you have Munis?
I don't have Munis, and to me, I rather see it in front of me.
You don't want to go into that anyway.
No, it's a nightmare.
Horrible.
It's a nightmare. It's ever since the birth of Munis, I was like.
See if I can print it up. But again, almost consistently, it was about a 10 or 12%. Again, rough draft. I know that we're gonna work that down.
Yep.
But we sat very patiently and said, honestly, what do you think we're gonna need for next year? Costs of things don't go down, they go up, and again, raises were given that's beyond our purview. So we have to focus on those, and we have to account for those in the next fiscal year. You don't want to lose positions, but the reality is we're 10 to 12%, and that's level service.
And yeah, we didn't get the instructions last month, what your instructions were in your marching orders.
I say, that's why I say rough draft, because I didn't follow the instructions yet.
Yeah.
I added to the expenses, which was said, don't add to expenses, but I need to see that first. I need to see where our ideal is.
Yep.
And then from there, we'll have conversations, and I'm sure it'll get back down. Another area, just so you're aware, if you see it, never has dispatch had any sort of expense line. Well, so the police department has had to absorb every expense for dispatch. Dispatch doesn't service just a police department. They use toner, they use paper, they use all the materials as well. With the way the budgets are going, I no longer believe it to be too fair that it comes out of our budget. They should have their own. Right? So we're not splitting hairs. I did put in, that's probably accounts for some of their increase. As I put in, I think it was like 5,000 for supplies, which isn't even crazy unreasonable. You're talking a lot of paper, a lot of ink, you do a lot of stuff in there. So it'll probably get cut. I don't know, but we got to try.
Okay, very good. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Ladies, gentlemen, have a good evening. Stay safe. Okay, now the fire department?
Next week.
Oh, sure, you're gonna leave?
Okay, thank you.
Make me listen to you guys. Hello. For everybody out in Cyberland, I'm Bob Strand. I'm the Emergency Management Director and Fire Chief. This is a monthly report.
Busy night?
No. Car fire, medical, cardiac arrest, two of them earlier today. Standard day. Just real quick on the updates. A little bit of a breakdown of calls there. We're gonna start doing a little bit different reporting calls. One of the statistics that I need to capture, and we just have to work through our reporting program, is it's great to see the volume of calls that we have and what type of calls they are and the time of day that we're busier. One of the things that we're not capturing in this report is overlapping calls. And why is that important? That's important because when we're barely staffed, when we are down to our bare minimum staffing, typically we can handle one call at a time. When the staff increases and we can handle multiple calls at a time, but if it's, you know, something where both companies are tied up on a call, you need to see that picture because it's going to go into a conversation we're going to have either tonight or later down the road when we talk about overtime. So for example, right now, I have two companies tied up on the highway with a fire. I have nobody protecting the city except for my two companies that are on the highway putting out the fire. So they've initiated a recall, which they're staffing 2 additional firefighters back here in case we need an ambulance, in case we need another engine. But it all plays into the funding scenario of the fire department. And we're going to get into a lot more detail in this in a little bit. Or at another meeting when we discuss the budget, because one of the items that we are always hammered about is our overtime. So I'm gonna go into that a little bit later, but I want to start reporting that monthly on not only the call volume, but how many of the calls, and it's going to be very surprising how many calls are back to back to back. Cindy will tell you from sitting in a dispatch center that, you know, you'll go 3 or 4 hours and nothing, and then all of a sudden you've got 10 calls at the same time and just not enough help to be able to deal with it.
So in this scenario tonight, you're calling in 2 extra people?
Yep.
2 extra.
Yeah, for emergency recall.
Okay.
Yep.
So
They'll come and they'll staff the firehouse. They'll also, since these companies are at an active fire, that means they're using water, they're using hose, they're using the air tanks. All that stuff needs to be serviced when they get back here, and yet they still have to maintain an engine available. So depending on the condition of the firefighters when they come back, if they're contaminated, they're gonna have to, you know.
Shower.
So these folks that are not only covering the firehouse when they come in, they're also gonna cover until those companies can get fully back into service.
thank you for explaining that.
Yep. Our emergency vehicle technician for the DPW has resigned and moved on. They've appointed a new individual from a mechanic standpoint. Because you need to be certified as an emergency vehicle technician to work on our pumps. They can do truck stuff, right? But when you start talking about the firefighter specific things like the aerial or the pump or things associated with the pump on a truck, you have to be certified in that. So we share the cost of the getting those folks up to speed with training, and making sure that we help out with the DPW to get that certification. So we have a gentleman that's going this week, from the DPW going to his first EVT, emergency vehicle technician training. So he'll come back with, I think he's going to pumps this week, so that'll be good.
So we don't use vendors, just if we
We
had to
do.
service our vehicles?
We do. So that our maintenance program is a tiered program. First level of maintenance is done in-house.
Okay.
So light bulbs and
Yep.
simple things that we can do, we do in-house. The next level is the DPW. They do everything from the oil changes to basic pump maintenance to basic repairs on trucks and things like that. When it gets to the more complicated level, we send it out to the vendor. If it's under warranty, it's great. If it's not under warranty, it's $120 an hour. So it gets expensive.
So it's like a three-tiered type, it's a
Yep.
three-tiered program.
Yep. Ambulance 2 is our newest ambulance, had some electrical issues. It's down at the shop being worked on under warranty to take care of the ambulance problem, and the ladder has had a hydraulic leak. It's been an ongoing problem with the truck. The Pierce Manufacturing, who we bought the truck from, has got engineers involved, and hopefully we'll have resolution on some of the problems that we're having with that truck.
And that's on the warranty, I would hope.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just got it.
Yeah, and they're also basically told that if there's not a fix to this, take your truck back.
How about just fix it for a period?
Yeah, so they're working on it. They've got the engineers involved. The hydraulic leak was taken care of, but the bedding of the actual ladder, have to rewrite the whole computer program, and they have computer engineers plus the engineers working on it, so they'll fix it. But it gets a little frustrated when you're paying close to $2 million for a piece of equipment. You want it to work. But Ed will tell you that every truck that you buy from every manufacturer you buy it from has an issue when you first get it.
Oh, yeah. So no matter who.
We actually have 4 people out on long-term IOD. One of them has gone through the retirement process. It is at the state level. We should be hearing back within the next week or so with them accepting his retirement. Another firefighter that's on long-term IOD, his paperwork has been submitted, but because of the time frame, it won't be brought up through the retirement board until next month's retirement board meetings. Another firefighter was injured on a medical call, and his return to date is uncertain, but it's going to be at least 6 weeks. And then we have one firefighter on long-term sickness. So we have a total of 5 out altogether on long-term injuries. So we are down 5 firefighters, which is almost the equivalent of 25% of my staff. Our newest firefighters from a year ago, Dew and Gardner, are coming off probation, and they will be completely certified on every piece of equipment. So that's good news. Every year, OEMS, the Office of Emergency Medical Services, changes our protocols, and they give us new tools at our disposal. This year, the new tools that they have put out are requirements, and they include nasal epinephrine and ETCO2 monitoring. So those are new skills that we're going to have to bring everybody up to speed on, plus purchase the new medication and tools to be able to do the job. So that'll be a process that we'll be working on within the next couple months. Group 1 and Group 4 each had chimney fires. I bought a new chimney fire kit. It's a set of weights and things. We didn't have a lot of chimney fires the last few years. I bought this new kit and we've had 5 chimney fires, so.
In the bottom.
We have been under a spending freeze since December. The mayor issued a citywide freeze, which doesn't have a great impact on us because we've already been doing it for a couple months. Our budget is in not great shape. We are struggling right now, and next year doesn't look any better. I have submitted the budget for FY 27. And it is as bare bones as any budget that I've submitted since I've been chief. I will give you, and I will leave it up to you if you want to discuss tonight, or if you want to have it at another time, but I will give you FY 27's budget. That's the narrative. That's the budget. That's the narrative. Budget. So,
We'll digest this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to highlight a couple of things before.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's okay, that's what we put it on the agenda to discuss.
Narrative budget. I plan on doing a more comprehensive budget report to the commission that will also go to Ways and Means. But I wanted you to be aware of the budget as soon as possible as we work through the process. I will tell you that there's going to be some changes already to this budget. Before I get into this, I will report on capital. Capital improvement went forward. I believe they made the recommendation of 10 defibs in the turnout gear. And I asked them to respectfully remove everything else. I appreciate the commission's support on that, but with the financial problems that the city's having, I couldn't in good conscience keep that on there. It's not that we don't need it, but we are gonna have to defer it for a little bit.
But the 10, go ahead.
Are we gonna discuss this or are we gonna table?
No, I think what we're gonna, the chief just said when he was going through that he had a couple of things he wanted to highlight, and we're gonna digest it for a month because this is a lot of information.
Yeah.
And then we'll put it on next month's agenda to discuss it with the chief again.
Yep.
There's a lot here.
Yep, there's a lot here, but I want to give you some highlights to for you to think about. If you have any questions between this meeting and next meeting, that I can prepare better for the questions that you may have. And I think if I highlight some of the areas, it will raise some questions that you may want to have answers to, if that makes sense. So you're going to look at the list, and if you look down from the captains, you're going to see a quarter of the way down, we have a captain. Logistics turned into deputy. You see what was funded this year, it is zeroed out. Last year, that position was upgraded to the deputy chief. So that salary plus what we had for the deputy chief is the deputy chief salary. Okay. When we got the news about Captain Whitney and with the other firefighters that had been out, the mayor had authorized us to hire a firefighter, which basically on paper gives us 3 shifts of 7 firefighters and 1 shift of 8 firefighters. I believe that that is important to maintain. However, because it is technically a new position, I am, if I was a betting man, one of the firefighters' position in this budget is going to be removed. So right now, as is, it's a 3.4 increase over salaries over last year. The firefighters got a 3% increase last year, and we have an additional firefighter, and we're only at 3.4%. So, which I will get into more detail on that when we discuss it. But We removed that firefighter and we're looking at basically a 0%, maybe a 1% increase in our salaries. That is significant based off of this fiscal year and last fiscal year and what was budgeted for salary increases. So, I'll get into that as we go further. And then salaries, self-explanatory. The other category that I just want to put attention to, $220,000 requested in overtime. That's what we had 2 years ago. It was dropped to 165. The contractual raises for the firefighters was well over 6%. And we went backwards in what we had for overtime. Our overtime's right at track to be about that number. I have worked closely with the union to try to make some changes and some difficult calls with trying to keep overtime in check. But at the end of the day, overtime is directly related to staffing the fire department. There's no other way to cut it. 92 to 93% of the overtime is used to fill vacancies on short shifts. When I have 25% of my staff off, the overtime increases to make sure we have firefighters working. The very small percentage of overtime beyond that is to cover, like tonight, when they were just out on the highway. We have people that have been recalled to make sure that the fire department is covered. Our goal is to have an engine company available all the time. We simply can't have that with staffing, so we rely on callback to be able to do that. Our firefighters and our officers that make the decision on when recall is initiated is done off of SOPs, or we tell them, if you're going to be tied up for 20 minutes, get help started back. And that's a really tough job sometimes for an officer to try to figure out, I think I'm going to be tied up for a while. I need to have people back. Point is, it's all about making sure that we have pieces of equipment ready to go at a moment's notice. When either an ambulance or a fire truck, seconds matter. And so having people ready to respond is what we try to strive for. And we do that through staffing the fire department and through staffing through our overtime. Okay. To put a little bit in perspective, in 2000 and maybe 9-ish, Chief Cogswell at the time was given the mandate to go to a minimum of 5 on duty. His overtime budget at the time was $205,000. That was 20 years ago. We're at $200,000 now and doing 3 times the volume of work. So we have done everything we can to squeeze everything out of our overtime. And I'm saying it now because we should have more discussion on it. But I'm concerned over the impact if we reduce overtime even further. So outside of that, we go into the operating budget. You're going to look at the left-hand side, and you're going to see a lot of categories were removed. So you see office equipment was removed. Building supplies were removed, postage was removed, batteries removed. All of that means is that that category was removed and put into another line item. So I have office equipment and then office supplies. Those have been combined into one line item. So you're going to see some of the line items have increased a little bit, but typically they've increased because we've combined line items to make it a little bit more simplified. Some of the items, repair and maintenance.
Ambulance 1, respond to
Here's an
primary
example.
ambulance.
You guys aren't
at
back off the
1:30
highway.
on Main Street.
We now have an ambulance call that the crews that are coming back will end up taking. So, repair and maintenance of vehicles.
Tell them AMR has a rig available, 1930.
Repair. Sorry. Repair and maintenance of vehicles, we were budgeted 20, we spend on average 50. I increased it to 39 to be more realistic of what we spend. When I was deputy chief taking care of the vehicles, it was told to me back 12 years ago or so that it was around $500 per truck to do PM being preventative maintenance. That's just for fluids, filters, and things like that. That doesn't include labor. So my point by saying that, it's very expensive to maintain a fleet. The rule of thumb that you use as a fleet maintenance, overseeing fleet maintenance in a fire service is basically you should be spending about 10% of your overall value of your fleet on maintenance. It's about $50,000 for us. So,
What category did fire prevention go into?
it's done away with because we have a fire prevention account. It's a revolving account that has been expanded, its mission of what it's supposed to do. But we've had to move stuff around and it's now in fire prevention. Same with the EMT certification. The 1,900 is roughly the cost to recertify. That's just the certification cost for half of the department. We usually have about half that recertify 1 year, half recertify the next year. That's been removed and put into the ambulance revenue account. If you go to the ambulance revenue account, you'll see fire prevention account. That is a revolving account. That is receipts earned by inspections that we do. You'll notice that in FY26, there's 86,000 coming out of that. Our computer program that we used, the mayor, in which I agreed with, was moved for a 1 year only put into this account because there was a little bit of a surplus in that revolving account. We no longer have that surplus, so that had to be removed and it's put into the ambulance account. But that's a budget for that. And then underneath that, you're going to notice that that is the ambulance operation budget. We are next year going to be taking 3 firefighters instead of 2 firefighters out of the ambulance revenue account. That is substantial for us because we are a backup ambulance provider and we have done a great job of building that account up. And when you build an account up like that, it becomes a target, which rightfully so. Our goal is to be able to expand the ambulance operations in the future. We will not be able to do that for the foreseeable future because we are going to need it for operational costs. Yes.
60,000 for lease.
Yeah.
Now, our ambulance is leased?
1 ambulance is leased.
We have 2 ambulances in the house?
One's paid for, 1 is leased.
Okay.
Yep.
Just checking.
Yep.
Wasn't sure how that works.
So the ambulance revenue basically supports the ambulance operations. Like I said, in this account, there was a little bit of a surplus in this. We are going to be tapping that account at a very, very high level of a tune of 562,000. There is not enough revenue that's brought in to sustain that. And so that's a 1 year, maybe 2 year, and then that account will be completely empty. So we are doing everything we can to maintain services without a big impact to the overall operating budget from the city side, knowing that there are going to be reductions. But when I say we've done everything we can, we've done everything we can. And I still think that there's a risk that as we move forward, budgets will be tough. Any questions? 60,000, did you say, so we do have a $70,000 lease that is for one of the fire engines. That's a 10-year lease. We are 6 years into it. That's under the operating budget, 70,300. In the ambulance, there is an ambulance. There's 2 actual leases in there. There's the ambulance lease at 60,000, and then there is the EMS leased equipment at 10,000. That's the stretchers, the monitors, and things like that.
What year are those in? The ambulance lease, what year?
They've been in the ambulance revenue account since we bought the equipment, And they're set. I think we got another couple of years on them.
Now, the equipment that's leased,
Yeah. As soon as,
monitors and things of that sort, do they get renewed
yeah,
if they become antiquated?
no, once the lease is over, we own the equipment.
Oh, okay, so it's a lease to buy.
Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Which will give you a couple years without a lease until you have to replace it. It's like a stretcher, you get about 10 years out.
Yeah, you don't want to, price tags on these things are enormous.
Don't they have an out of date kind of thing?
Everything has an end.
They have to be dated because if they go out of service or something like that.
Just about everything in public safety has an end of life that's either firm or it's recommended.
Or it has to be recertified.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Like our turnout gear, there's a standard that says the turnout gear can be no older than 10 years. Doesn't matter how much you use, it can be no older than 10 years. Which coming down the pike, because of changes to the PFAS, that's the lifelong chemicals, which our turnout gear is made mostly of PFAS. And the state is going PFAS free for firefighting. The new gear that's going to be replacing that, we're still working on it, but the indications are it's going to be about $2,000 more set and will be good for 5 years, not that.
That's all.
Because it's the material that they use, the PFABs, is what gives it its durability. It's all preliminary. The industry's trying to scramble to come up with solutions to get rid of the PFAS, but yeah, the challenge.
Okay, we'll digest this.
Yeah, like I said, just digest it. Any questions for the chief on anything? I know you want to ask, Commissioner has a question, but you want to ask that now or later after the meeting about coming through the station?
No, we can talk on it.
Afterwards? Oh, you guys already talked? No. Oh, no, go ahead. Or you want to wait till afterwards?
Yeah, we can talk on it.
Yeah. Commissioner, like to see you afterwards.
Sure. Like I said about the budget, in Eunice, it is very detailed. Line for line is very detailed. So like vehicle maintenance, we know that we have to replace X amount of tires. We know what the tires cost. It's just, we have very, very, very to the penny detail of what the costs are.
I don't think we need that. I think this is where we're at here. We don't have to know that it's 3 tires or 4 tires.
That's what we've got. That's how much we've drilled down this budget.
No, I know you have. I get it.
Cleaning detergent.
Yeah.
Buy
How many
3
jugs of cleaning detergent do we anticipate we're gonna need in a year, what the rate is, what the anticipated new rate is, and that's how we built the budget. When I mean, we went through with a fine tooth comb. We went through everything very, very clear, and anything that was not immediate or that needed to keep the place running, it was removed.
Well, I personally appreciate you providing these line items, in the categories,
And the explanations. Thank you.
I am fortunate that I have a great administrative staff that's helping me. Captain Kimball, Deputy Chief MacGyver, Shannon, Danielle, Alex, everybody worked really hard to really drill down to what we need for bare bones. And what we have presented is.
I would recommend that if we're gonna delve into this and review this in detail next month, that if you do have any questions, let's get them to the chief before the meeting, so he has time to prep to answer the questions. And I would do that through the chair. So if you have questions, get them to the chair, and the chair could.
We will have a more in-depth report for you that goes into a little more detail. I just got the budget done. The narrative was written today. So I didn't get a chance to do an overall bigger presentation for you.
All right. Very good. That's all I have. Be safe.
Thank you.
And like I said, the commissioner has a question for you after the meeting.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you.
The only other budget I haven't done yet is the emergency management director budget. I think that's like 25,000. So you'll get that.
Thanks, thank you. Okay, so we will move on to our next item, which is
Review the charter.
review the charter changes. I sent them to everybody. It was kind of had to go on the charter page and on the webpage on the town and kind of like compare the two. I kind of went on and, you know, highlighted, they changed, you had to be separation of duty they changed it from 60 months to 36 months. I believe that I caught that. They changed some family member definitions. They changed just the word, and instead of parents, they changed to father and mother. They made definitions of family members a little
Semantics
bit
changes.
clearer. And that's what I caught. The one thing that I really think that we need to address, that I think that we need to address, and I'm trying to find it in here, is
Did we get that?
Yes, we did.
yeah, I sent this all to everybody in
At
an
the very
email
beginning, when we took
attachment.
over.
They came from the chief, and I forwarded to everybody in the
In an email?
in an email, yeah,
I never got it in the email.
February 9th.
February 9th.
Never got it. Or if I did get it, my printer is broken, so I can't print it out for myself.
Okay, well,
It
yeah,
was-
but
it
it
was
was in
sent
an
out.
email, it was sent out in an email form, and I know you were on the email.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I guess I'll print, if
Actually,
you,
the
Can I
7th.
interject for a second?
yeah,
So these changes are already in Boston. These aren't changes that you're gonna be able to make. These have already been.
yeah, no,
Okay,
no, these are changes to the charter that
Okay.
was signed by the governor, I know that. yeah.
Okay, I was just
Yeah.
making sure, like, it's the time for input
We need
is.
to address later down the road, in my own personal opinion, is that it states in here that we will make sure that progressive discipline that we will, it doesn't say that we will make sure, it says that we will use progressive discipline. I'm just trying to find
Does
it.
that mean you go from chains and whips to rack and then?
So
What?
these
Where the hell
these
are they?
charter changes that you sent, was this the last group of charter changes? Where
Yes,
they changed the commission from
5 to
to
7.
5 to 7?
Mhm.
Okay. So
so, no, these were just signed into by the governor, the 22nd, January 22nd of 2026. These are just signed in.
So these
Yeah,
are,
but they've already been gone through the process, so this is the final thing. All that needed to happen.
It is part of your
signed.
charter.
Right.
but wait, I don't understand that. There was a charter change made last year.
Those already went through.
Where
got
we
signed.
went to 7 commissioners and we changed our reorganization to January. That was, so now these are additional charter changes?
Yeah, these are new ones that they just sent to the governor. Those were
Who sent these new ones?
the city council,
City council?
sent them to the mayor.
To be honest with you guys, I haven't read them.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
the seven was already done. That was already done.
I get that's a different set of charter changes than this one.
Right, so who makes the charter changes? So the people that make the charter changes are the city council will make changes and the mayor, send them to the mayor.
In the ordinance.
And it's in city ordinances, right?
Okay.
And then they forward,
Oh, no, wait a minute, no, I believe it's they have a commission.
But that's every 10 years, that's every 10 years as a charter commission.
no, because we went to a city now, charter, the city charter now that we're at a city can be changed all the time. It doesn't have to happen every 10 years.
You can make some my understanding, I'm not the legal expert on this, but my understanding is that, yes, you can make changes, but every 10 years, the full chart.
A full review is every 10 years.
Right, a full review, but you can change a charter,
Okay.
you never used to be
Okay.
able to
I
until
got
you
it.
became a
So
city.
you're talking about the most recent changes that have gone to the state?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Were the ones that I sent.
Okay, I got it. Thank you for clarifying that.
So.
I thought they were the older ones.
No.
So these are new changes that
These
you're
are
talking
new,
about,
yeah.
that you've scoped out, okay?
Yeah, that
Okay.
forwarded
Do you
to us
wanna-
from
Do you want
the.
to read the progressive changes to discipline?
No, the,
No, so let me just find it here. Where it says,
I think that if can I just interject on the progressive part of it? That the charter says that the commission will disperse progressive.
okay, right here.
Yeah, you can read it.
So verbatim. It says the commission shall apply the principle of progressive discipline except in instances where more severe punishment is warranted. My problem with that is that we do not, let me finish.
Yeah, let them finish.
Okay, we do not hand out punishment. The chief and the mayor hands out the punishment. In my opinion, I'm not gonna leave myself open to a civil case and get sued because I administered discipline to a firefighter or a police officer or a chief or a captain, whomever. It is not my position to do that. I have sat, I see your hand, Jerry. I will call on you in a
Just
minute.
hold on, let them finish.
No, that's fine. Sorry.
I have sat through disciplinary actions that have gone to court, and it's very lengthy, drawn out, expensive, where lawyers were provided by the city to represent the city part, which they're not gonna do for us. And the union had their own attorney. They're drawn out. We, in my opinion, you can have your own. But I am not gonna leave myself open to a civil case, a civil lawsuit, because that's what you're gonna leave yourself open to very quickly. If it turns out that the wrong decision was made, or even so, if the wrong decision wasn't made, you're still gonna be drawn into civil court over it, which is anybody can be drawn into a civil case.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
As I understand it, we are not the disciplinary action people. We can recommend, but we cannot necessarily enforce discipline. Can we? In other words, it's up to the chiefs.
So the chart.
To do the discipline.
The charter is, the language in the charter is the language in the charter, okay? Let me just say,
No.
the language in the charter is the language in the charter. The charter was, a lot of this language was developed by the 10-year charter commission that copied another town's, another city's charter. This, I'm in agreement with this. We are not, I wouldn't, I expect that if a chief comes to us and there's disciplinary action that has to take place, that it's the chief's responsibility. If the chief comes to us and says, this is what I did, and we don't agree with that, we could have a say in that, but we're not responsible to discipline anybody. If the mayor has an issue with the chief, all right, I'm not talking about, a patrol person or a firefighter level, whatever. If the mayor has an issue with one of the chiefs goes off the deep end and does whatever, then the mayor has no choice but to come to us in executive session to discuss if there's gonna be a replacement or if there's going to be some type of discipline to the chief, because he or she has nowhere else to go to. But we are not going to discipline anybody that's below the chief. That is the chief's responsibility. If the language in the charter has to change. It has to change, and the way it can change is we go to council and we say, we believe these charter items need to change, or we do it at the 10-year thing. But I don't think anybody here sitting at this table has the legal right to discipline anybody in the fire department. We could.
Or police department.
Or the police department, or EMS, or dispatch. We could put the pressure on the chiefs to do that and say, hey, we know there was an incident. What are you doing about it? But we're not gonna lay down discipline as public safety commissioners. And when it comes to the chief, we would have to assist if there is an issue with the chief because the mayor has nowhere else to go. That's my understanding of it.
So this was addressed when this was proposed. To it was discussed at the city council level. When this change was proposed, because I don't think it was always in there.
There's been progressive
That's always been
discipline,
in.
always been in there.
So
It's always been in there.
I argued this when I was on city
Yeah,
council.
the problem that you have, right, is that counters other laws and other agreements. So the firefighters union, for example,
Right.
spells out how progressive discipline works.
Right.
Public safety is not mentioned at any level during that.
Didn't think so.
The language has to be corrected, and if council is the ones that approve it, then somebody has to go forth and explain it to them. David Illinois is a good person to do that. He's a lawyer, he's a public safety commissioner. But we are not going to delve out discipline to any employee that is on your staff. We're gonna expect and ask you to do that. And you're gonna be held accountable to us for that discipline, and that's how it goes. We don't, whatever the charter says, we're not going to do that.
You could advise us of what you're doing.
No,
He can't.
no.
So,
You can't do-
so
you
there
can't
are
do that.
so many laws that will challenge this commission if the commission chooses to exercise this. One of them being is that if you're going to have a discussion about anybody, any subordinate, right? They have to be notified, they have to be told that you're going to do that, they have the right to get an attorney.
Okay.
And you have to do it in the executive, there's so many rules.
Got it.
And at the end of the day, you're not the appointing authority.
Right.
The mayor's the appointing authority, which means that the ultimate decision for hiring and firing and discipline is the mayor's discretion. Now, what the commission should do is give input onto that.
Exactly.
100% give input onto that,
Right.
because the mayor, that's a lonely job. And it's my opinion, it's Bob Strand opinion, is that this was what the commission was supposed to do, is to help make help her make decisions, or him or whoever make decisions when it comes to the overall governance of the fire department.
The language this language comes from another city's charter, and it wasn't reviewed properly, in my opinion. And I personally wouldn't put my tail out there to discipline somebody and go past you to discipline one of you. It's not gonna happen.
I will tell you that this city,
For the chiefs.
the city that this came from, their board of commissioners are completely different than different than the role that we serve.
They're the
Right,
appointing
for the
authority. They're the
Correct.
appointing authority. We're not the appointing
So
authority.
this has been an oversight.
To be for the chiefs.
Exactly. So this,
We're
this
supposed
language
to have
right here
discussion
has been
if
in
something
there
happens with the
forever.
chiefs.
And we,
Not with the,
Isn't
not
that,
with the
isn't that
subordinates.
part of what post,
Post is its own
Always
animal, and I
No.
can't comment on that.
Yeah.
It's all I do. I can tell you from the
It was
legal
passed through that-
standpoint,
that-
Are
management.
there other things that you
this is the only thing
looked
that
out
I.
that you wanted to review, or any?
No,
other
this is the
commissioner?
only thing that I really, that stuck out that we need to address. The rest of the changes are just wording changes. Like I said, you only have to be separated now for 36 months instead of 60 months, which is a long, 60 months was a long time. I waited to get on this commission for, 5 years after I retired. So anybody else have any thoughts, comments?
I have one more thought. What are we going to do with this? We're going back to the council with this statement that they have on number 1 and ask them to review and correct.
I don't think I'm gonna come, I don't know, you guys can make a motion to do whatever you wanna do. I think-
I personally would like to table it until all of us have had
Chance.
the opportunity to
Oh, yeah.
scrutinize that.
Yeah.
And if any one of us is not familiar with legal jargon, then to seek someone that does to explain it to.
We could ask our commissioner who is not here to help us with that, maybe.
I think it's not even us. I think we could make the recommendation and let the mayor know that if we all agree that we're not gonna delve out progressive, any type of discipline. I think it's the mayor that goes to the council or the city lawyer and explains that. We're not lawyers. The city lawyer needs to go in front of the council and explain that the commission has brought up a question to us, and this is the right way we should handle it, and the charter has to change. It's not us. It's, we should
That's
just let the
good.
mayor be aware
That
of
was
this.
that was not my motion. My motion was to table this.
Okay.
Until we've all digested it and made, then recommendations move forward. But we can't just, if you haven't,
If
I
you
know.
make a motion and someone seconds it,
Yep.
when we vote it, we can table it.
Right.
So we have a motion on the table, we have a motion to table this discussion until next month?
Yeah.
Next month to revisit it.
Second that.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Table.
Seeing none, so it's been tabled. Hey, so we're good there. Thank you for your input, chief.
I'm happy to confuse.
That's what you're here for. That's what you're here for.
I've been saying that.
Not going that far.
I've been saying that since the day I was handed the charter.
So moving on, I have discussion about the new, with the GSAT outage. First off, I'd like to apologize to the board. I didn't receive a phone call, but I think between me and the vice chair, we kind of straightened that part out, that we both need to be notified. I got the email the next day after the 12th. I think that was the day after or whatever, that this had happened, and I apologize. I didn't forward it to the commission, and that's my fault. I dropped the ball on that, so I will take full responsibility on that. I know the mayor's concern and the chief's concern was the internet over phone, where 911 was out for a very long time for a lot of citizens that have it, and were unable to call 911. I know that there's gonna be an upcoming roundtable discussion. I've asked the mayor that we are kind of like included in on it, so we can hear what some of the decisions, suggestions, problems, and what solutions can be. I just wanted to give that update to the commission that a roundtable was happening soon. And that there was that the mayor, and I know that Chief Strand was very upset that there was a lot of people that were stranded out there without 911 service.
So you've come up with recommendations, that's how.
I have offered myself to assist GSAT with coming up with emergency plans.
And when is this roundtable taking place?
I don't know.
She didn't know, the mayor was gonna let me know, and the minute she lets me know, I'll let everybody else know.
And is that for like one of us to be the representative?
Yeah, or probably a couple of us can sit on. I don't think she wants 7 people on the, but I think that maybe a couple of people that want to sit on a round table.
It's basically, it's to develop some type of a notification plan on what happens if they have a failure, who gets notified. So for example, most of the city infrastructure is on GSAT. We need to know if it goes down. Now, town hall, police department, Sanderson Street, the fire department, we have backup. We pay for a backup system. We drop back to Comcast if GSAT fails.
Is that in your budget?
IT's budget.
No, I'm serious. Whose budget is that in? The backup? Okay.
And they have to have a backup for catastrophic failures like this. What I can tell you is that I've had multiple conversations with John Lent, who is the overseer of GSAT, and have offered my services to help them develop a plan. At the end of the day, they're the ones that should have the plan. But I'm not a guy that, says,
And they'll have the cost of the
like,
plan.
we'll help you work through it.
Yeah, and they'll have
I
the
think
cost of the plan.
I don't think, so as far as the infrastructure goes, that's not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
What I can help them with is when things go bad,
Yep.
what steps should be taken, and I can work closely with that. And one of the things that we've identified is we had couple hundred people that didn't have the phone. Well, some people have Comcast and they have voice over, and if Comcast fails, there's no backup there and there's no notification there. I think this is a little different, being that it's a quasi-city agency, right? It's not run by the city of Greenfield, it's its own agency. But I think there's an element there that we can be proactive and say, anybody that has voice over IP, if you want to share your contact information, you don't have to, but if you want to share your contact information or other alternative sources of communications you have, we can build it into our 911 system. And if they have a catastrophic failure, we can reach out to them. And if they don't have a method like that, then it may be somebody goes visits and says, hey, listen, your phone's down. What can we help with? My point is that we can help out with plans like that and come up with something, because it is a quasi city of Greenfield. It's complicated legally, but it's, you know, it's its own group. And so I don't think I, as emergency management director, can dictate what they should be doing, but what I can do is help facilitate some discussions and make it better for this, God forbid, happens again.
I do know if you if you had an old landline, the old landline, and you said you're still connected to the pole or out of the street, you can plug your phone still in to the jack and dial 911. That's the only thing you can do, but that's part of the 911 agreement, that if you still have.
Your phone jacks are still live for 911.
Still live for 911. So you can take an old landline phone if you have one.
If you can find a phone, if you can find a phone.
Wasn't cut between.
I have some at Woodney Hill.
I do have one.
Some people have cut the wires from.
Right. If you haven't cut your wires, then they still work, because that's part of 911.
But most people do have a cell phone.
Right.
Most people do have a cell phone. If the folks that have this service want to share that information of their cell phone, then we have a point-to-point contact with those folks.
Yeah.
So we're developing, we have a grant with another agency within the city of Greenfield that we're gonna start putting out some information about signing up for alerts and start giving proper information to 911. It's all voluntary, nobody's required. But if you want to share confidentially some of the information so we can facilitate better in an emergency, that's coming. We're going to hopefully broaden that with GSET a little bit and get GSET aboard, that they can send out this flyer to their customers, or when they register a new person, hey, consider giving this information to the 911 system or the confidential fire department pre-planned system that we have. We have a system that you can go confidentially online and tell us everything about you. That you have a pet, that you have oxygen, that you're mobility challenge. And you can right now sign up for it and put all that information. It's confidential, but it's at our fingertips when we respond to your house. You know, and so that's what the grant is to try to get the word out that we have these programs.
What is that system called?
It's Community Connect. It's through First Due. It's our computer program software that we have for reporting. So
Yeah, everybody can go online as a resident and sign up for that, and they can fill out.
The other one is Greenfield Alerts. That is what we call the RAVE system. That's basically a reverse 911 system. And we strongly encourage people to register for that, because you will get critical information during the event.
Are you open to some of us coming up to you and just you can explain them, you know, the program, so we know, teach us how to sign up?
So this program the grant that we have, there's gonna be mailings involved, but there's also gonna be sessions at the John Zahn Center. I think the library, where we're going to be able to have people there to help answer questions and register people if we need. We're still working on the particulars. They've gotten the grant. We're still working on the particulars on how my agency is going to help out with economic development, is the one that went for and was successful and got the grant. So there's more details to come with that.
Which grant is it?
I don't know the name, but.
No, but what it's to deal with the GSET thing, or that's something we're talking about
No,
something
it's
different?
to register people, to help get the word out, to register people, to give us their information that we can use during an emergency.
Oh, I see that.
Because of the GSET thing,
I get you.
we want to incorporate, you know, a sign up or whatever that we can recommend GSET give to their folks, and they can sign up in case this happens again. We'll be able to know that, hey, we have identify these GSET people that don't have a phone. And then what we do from thereafter, I don't know yet. We have to figure out what resources that the city wants to bring to bear on that, but it's a starting point.
I do remember you presenting something before for us.
Glad you say.
Just here to confuse you.
So, anything else on that?
No, not on that.
Okay, so I goofed as my first time as a chair and I forgot that we were gonna do the minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
So I'm gonna have to incorporate that into next meeting, this month's and last month's meeting.
Yeah, we can do two.
So I'll do that. I'll make sure I have a note right here. Add that to the agenda.
And I make a recommendation. You may want to consider a separate budget meeting outside of your normal meeting.
Yeah.
Budget meetings have a tendency to go on.
Yeah.
I think if we do that, we would want to see what we were given by the police, if this fire police, then do a separate budget meeting for both departments.
That they, historically,
Yeah.
those meetings have been a little
long
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah. And I think
If you want questions to.
if nobody has an objection to probably doing two meetings in 1 month or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that.
two budget season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be quick and
Then I'm
easy,
advocating for another meeting.
less painless, but
Well, I don't think it'll be
The
No,
quick.
we
next,
don't.
the next meeting in would be
Yeah.
25th of March.
I'm moving, yep, so the next meeting will be March 25th, 6 p.m. at the fire station right here at used to be not 412 Main Street anymore, though.
55.
I would leave yourself open to call one before that, though.
Yes.
I gotta check the time frame, but it's gonna go to city council. The mayor's gonna have her deliberations done. It's condensed this year. I'll get the back to you, but it's coming up pretty quick. The
Yeah.
city council's gonna vote on it in either the end of April or May.
Okay,
Yep.
April's
So
meeting.
she's got a, by charter, she's got a time frame. She's gotta get that to city council. Your input's gotta go to the mayor. By right, should go to the mayor before she makes her decision, before it goes to city council.
Yeah.
And you can't do it on the 18th. That's the day after St. Patty's Day. Nobody's gonna be in any shape. So the 11th might be the best.
It has to happen in March.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
think
see if we
about it.
Do it in a way.
Yeah. I'll have to think about it.
On a Wednesday.
Yeah.
May have to have two meetings in 1 week. Stack them that.
You don't have to have a separate meeting. I'm just saying that it has a tendency to be a long meeting.
Yeah, it does.
That's it. Well,
So why don't we wait until, we all figure out what your availability
Yep,
is?
Yep.
And then
Yep.
it'll get back to you and then you just.
yeah, people can forward me when their availabilities are.
I'll get you the exact dates that
And
you
yeah,
need
if you
to.
give me the exact date, because we need to have a recommendation to the mayor, and I don't want to give a recommendation without.
Years past, the recommendations already been, was given after it had been submitted, and the mayor had already did her own
Yeah,
deliberation.
so it was just it was a mute point. So we'll do that, if you can get back to me, and now I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Dave, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Although I had to ask it, all those opposed? Seeing none, adjourn.
There we go.